Hey everybody, welcome back to Unbroken Arrows podcast. As always, I am Catherine.
And I'm Greg, and I'm betting everybody is really happy to hear Catherine's voice because it's been a long time.
It's been a very busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's going to get busier.
Yes, it is.
And why is that, Catherine?
That is because I will be gone all of next week on a hunting trip.
Yeah, and what will you be hunting?
So the original plan was to antelope hunt, right? Because I've never done that before. So we set this whole thing up. We were going to go out and antelope hunt. And now one of the ranchers that we have permission to hunt sent me a picture of a really nice muley. So now we might be mule deer hunting.
But you can do both, can't you?
Yeah. The plan was to antelope hunt, but now it's probably going to be hunt deer in the morning and hunt antelope in the afternoon. Because antelope will move all day. Deer are more morning and night.
Okay, so...
Anyways, that's what people tell me. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, you'll find that out. Well, all I can say is that, for a while, in between homework and work, you've been trying to get things gathered for your hunt. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be gone for a week. So what's that all about? Tell us what all the types of things that you need to get ready to prep, because you're going to be camping. Your Uncle Mark might come up with a camper, so you might be able to, not be tent camping a couple of days.
Yeah.
So, what?
Glamping,
camping,
like glamorous camping.
Oh.
Glamping.
I've never heard that term before.
Oh, yeah.
So, glamping. Kind of sounds like
it's
a
not
disease.
Really... It's not really camping, but it's not camping.
It's not in a tent.
Yeah. Well, I was telling one of the guys at work this the other day, I hope Mark, and he should be listening to this, I'm going to send him an audio clip of this. I hope he decides to come with us, because it's like kind of a throwback. It's been a while since I've got to deer hunt with him. And I grew up deer hunting with him and my dad. And so I think that would just be so fun.
Well, good.
He says that it's only because I want him to bring the camper, but either way, we're going to be tenting at some point, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, that's kind of an interesting perspective, though, that he has you figured out.
Yeah. He's like, you just want me to come up because I'll bring the camper. I was like, well, it'd be a nice perk.
What if he comes up and brings another tent?
That'd be fine, too.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have a heater, cots. It's basically glamping.
Well...
What was the question?
The question is, what are the types of things that you need to prepare for a week-long hunt in the Black Hills?
Well, we're not going to be in the Black Hills.
You're going to be north of the...
We're going to be north of the hills, so it's different...
terrain.
Yeah, terrain. It's more grassy, flats. There's still going to be quite a bit of... I shouldn't say flat, because there's still quite a bit of up and down, but not like the mountainy stuff. But... to start with, which Nate has done most of this, from months ago, just looking at the terrain, planning what you want to do, where you want to go, looking for water holes, all of that. And again, I'm not going to take credit for that.
Well, okay, so let me ask the question that maybe you can answer, since Nate's doing all this work. But yeah, why are you looking for water holes?
Yeah, the plan, again... weather permitting, we were going to sit on water during the day because antelope at some point are going to have to come drink water. And we were thinking it was going to be warmer. But now looking out in the forecast, it gets up to 80 one day, but other than that, it's low 70s and it's down to 40 at night. So they're not going to have as much pressure to go to water.
Okay.
But still kind of keeping that in the back of your head. That is probably... from, again, what I've heard, the easiest way to hunt antelope, because they're also called, crack goats or cocaine goats, because they freak out at everything, and they're just super jumpy. So if you try to, spot and stalk them, it's hard to get within, 50 yards. Mm-hmm. That would be really good for an antelope. A lot of people are like, yeah, if you get 70 yards, you better shoot, because you're not going to get much closer.
And you're doing this with archery, so
yes.
You are comfortable... up to how many yards away?
I've got a pin out to 90. Ooh. I think I would be pretty comfortable shooting one at 70. if I had to, like if we're, I don't know if I should admit this. If this is like day 7 and we're like leaving tomorrow and I haven't shot anything, I'd probably shoot one at 80. Shoot at one at 80. One. I think 90's pushing it. So if it's at 90, I'll let Nate shoot.
If they're so jumpy though, how much sound is made when
that's the other part of it.
The sound will get to them before the arrow would, and they may move, even if it's just a little bit. That's
yep. No, they're hit. Super jumpy. But if you sit out water and you're just on a blind, chances are you can get them closer if they're going to water. So, I mean, to be fair, more or less, it's my uncle's property that he got permission on, that he got me permission on. So therefore, it's more mine than it is Nate's. So Nate's got to work a little bit harder to be part of this hunt.
Okay. So that's why he's doing all of that, huh?
No, and he just obsesses over it. Where I would be like, let's just see what it looks like when we get out there. Especially because we've already been out there once, that I'm not like trying to figure out the lay of the land. And I'd be like, yeah, let's just, figure it out when we get out there, sit on some hill, glass for a while. He's like, already knows where we're going to go sit to glass. Like get there and be like, that hill looks nice. He's much more prepared.
Well, and that, I mean, with apps like Onyx, I mean, you can look at the visual. You can see where there are trees, where they're not. Then you also have the topographic lines, right? So you can see the ridges and how steep it is. And
they even have for like pro accounts, which I had for a little bit before I lost my pro account and I wasn't going to pay for it anymore. There's a software, I think you have to do it on the computer, that you can actually like drop a pin where you would want a glass, and then it would show you basically like a highlight of what hillsides would be in view and which ones would be like covered by other hills.
So kind of like a Google map thing, like
kind of. It's almost around. Like it's almost like it's not even like 3D though, because you're not actually like dropping a pin on top of the hill and like seeing the view. It's like it just shows you it's so hard to explain without showing. It shows you
just so everybody knows she's doing
I'm
tremendous hand gestures right now, trying to draw a picture.
A bunch of hand. It's like more or less you're like if you go onto a map and you have your is it
topograph?
Topograph? I think I always say topo.
Yeah. Topo map.
Topo? I always say topo. Anyways, it has your topo. And then you would just like click where you think you'd want to sit, and it would highlight certain parts of the map that like would then be able to you'll just have to kind of look at it. Okay. But it's a pretty cool Onyx feature.
So in other words, that it gives you not only then maybe the elevation side of things, it gives you an idea of what it actually looks like.
Yeah, it'd give you an idea of what your line of view would be without like actually being like Google Maps and putting you on top of the hill. On top of
that, like the 360 when you click on an intersection and you can look around. Yeah.
So that was an awful explanation, but everyone's going to be so interested that they're going to go look it up now.
They're going to go look up an Onyx Pro. Well, okay, now that's an important part of preparing for the hunt.
Yes, but I know that's not what you were talking about.
Well, it is. No, it was, because that's something that people just don't show up at a place and say, "Oh, I'm going to hunt here tomorrow." You need to have that type of pre-hunt made a priority, because if you want a successful hunt, that's probably the most important part. In addition to that, though, there are equipment needs that you have to take into consideration, food needs that you have to take into consideration, how you're going to cook that food, and all those kinds of things. Your tent, what you're going to stay in, clothing, which, oh my goodness, there's enough clothes for a several week trip, I think.
I'm an overpacker, and the problem is that it's going to be 40 in the morning and 80 in the afternoon, or like 70s in the afternoon.
Okay.
So it's like I got to bring warm clothes, but I also got to bring like my lightweight stuff, and then we're going to be there for 7 days. So you want to have stuff that's not going to smell. So you got to bring
have a camper
multiples.
there to take a shower, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Potentially.
Hopefully. Mark, are you listening?
Yeah, come on, Mark. I called him the other day and he didn't call me back, so I don't know if he's avoiding me or
he just doesn't know how he's going to tell you, no, I'm not coming.
I tell him all the time that we talk. I don't say we talk shit about him. I can swear, right?
Well, yeah, we don't like using the F word, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, we talk about you all the time on the podcast, and he's like, honestly, I haven't listened to any of them.
Gee. Thanks, Mark.
I think he's
Appreciate
listened
that.
to a couple,
Yeah.
like 2 or 3. I'm like, oh yeah, I talk about you all the time.
Anyway, back to
Yes.
preps.
Prep.
And clothes are important, and like you've already said, that's the weather is. You have to make sure that you look into the forecast in terms of when you're going to be, and that's not always necessarily 100% accurate because you could have different systems move in. But
So, we're hoping that it's not gonna rain, but yeah, other things is just like all of your equipment. So making sure that like my bow was sighted in, I had to shoot that out to those longer yardages. Making sure that this is a big one, like check this stuff before the week of. Working at an archery shop, we have people come in all the time, and some of it's like freak things, like they were out shooting and they're like, I leave tomorrow. But we'll also have people that come in like, yeah, I just took it out of the case and it is like this. And I'm like, you leave in like 2 days. Why are you just taking it out of the case now?
right.
But yeah, so checking all of that stuff over, but then also having a backup plan.
Yeah, what you're saying is to any of the equipment that you're going to be using, make sure it's in working order in plenty of time ahead of the hunt. So that doesn't happen that you come in the next day and you think it's going to get fixed the day before you're leaving and it can't. So
yeah, but so that equipment side, but then also like I was telling my mom, I'm like, every year we do a hunt like this. It's been 2 years for sure that Nate and I have gone out, and I've gone out to the hills turkey hunting before with one of my friends. Like every year I end up buying more stuff. I'm like, how do I not have everything that I need by now? But going through your stuff, making sure you're not out of stuff that you need.
like stuff.
Like we bought more game bags. We bought bug spray, tent stakes, because for some reason we don't have tent stakes anymore, even though we planned on staying in a tent last year. Like I don't know what happened. Whatever. I don't know. It's a good thing we didn't end up having to stay in a tent, I think. You know, scent killer stuff. So spray for kind of refreshing your clothes after. I'm looking at my boxes that I have packed right now, and I'm trying to remember what's in them. Blankets, sleeping bags, lights, carbon monoxide detectors if you plan on having a heater. It's a big one.
Very, very important.
Multiples of them too. Don't just have one, because if that one isn't working, what are you going to do?
Not a good outcome there.
I don't know if that's a normal thing that people do, but I've always had carbon monoxide detectors.
Well, if it's not a normal thing, I think that's something that people should add to their checklist of things to bring if they don't.
Especially, yeah, and that's if you're going to have a heater. You don't just need one in your tent. If you're
Nate's kind of gassy sometimes, and so are you, but, you know, I don't think that's the problem. It's not going to pick up that.
What else do I have? Silverware, dishes, food's a big one. So Nate and I are planning on we've got some of like the dehydrated meals. But then I bought a bunch of hot dogs. So we're going to eat hot dogs for like a week.
And you made some trail mix yesterday afternoon. So stuff that's high in protein, easy to carry.
Sandwiches. I make just a bunch of ham sandwiches I take a whole thing of Hawaiian rolls.
King's Hawaiian, yeah.
The big Hawaiian bun rolls, whatever. And I like cut them all in half. Like don't break them apart. Just leave them whole. Cut the entire thing in half. Put a bunch of ham down, put the top back down, and then cut them into your little like normal roll sizes, because then you have just like quick, you can grab them, whether it's you run back to camp for lunch or, you know, anything like that. You can just grab 1 or 2 of them and be set. You don't have to worry about actually making a sandwich, and they're delicious.
I will say,
I do say so myself.
that the first time I saw you and your mother, and I can't remember what the event was, but the first time I saw one of you do that and make them that way, genius.
Yep,
I thought that was impressive. So,
Yeah. Pretty smart. You can do that with all kinds of things too. You don't even have to do it with ham sandwiches. You can make like pizzas.
mm-hmm.
I think Mom made the ham and cheese sandwiches that way, and put them in the oven, and then cut them up.
And just so everybody knows, she did do the hand gestures for the making of
Yeah.
the King's Hawaiian sandwiches and slicing it in half the whole,
Slicing.
and then in little pieces,
chopping it up.
Yeah,
Try not to hit the table so I don't make sounds.
If we ever get to the point of doing a YouTube video at the same time we're recording this, then everybody can really enjoy what I get to do. So
Everything's gonna make more sense because you can actually understand what I'm gesturing at. Yeah. Other things. I love snacks, so I bought a bunch of snacks, chips, trail mix, like Greg said, and I like to make it myself because then I can put everything that I like in there and leave the things I don't like out, and it's cheaper than if you buy it like pre-made. It's like double what it would be if you just made it yourself.
okay, so now I have I think a fairly important question here to ask. Okay, we're talking about trying to get fairly close to antelope, and I know deer have an amazing sense of smell. What types of things, when you go out on the actual hunt and you bring snacks, because snacks and nap, and hunting,
Yeah.
those three things. So do you pay attention to what kind of snacks you take with you in case there is a smell that maybe carries further, or is more prominent, that might spook a deer or an antelope? Or do you just
Yes and
worry
no.
more about you getting the snack that you
I mean, everyone's gonna be more happy if I have snacks. So there's that. I mean, I don't pick like super smelly things. Like I'm not eating sardines out there or anything, which are gross, and I wouldn't eat those anyways.
no comment. I enjoy them.
But my go-tos when I'm like actually packing them in my bag would probably be trail mix, and then just like jerky or like Sour Patch Kids.
Oh jeez. what a range. We're talking about hunting and everybody's thinking about, the beef jerky, the trail mix and all that. And now you get the visual of Catherine snacking on the Sour Patch Kids.
They're good. I just can't. You can't go wrong with those.
Well, okay.
I like really do love snacks though, but
No, really? I mean, this is, so far we've been talking about 20 minutes and probably 15 we've talked about food.
I think I've trained myself to like not, this is so unhealthy, don't do this, to like just not eat or drink a lot of the times when we're hunting, because then I like have to go to the bathroom and that's just a pain in the butt. Or like, and I honestly, I'm going to say like 100 times here. I like. I just don't think about it sometimes.
It's okay. I can edit some of those things out.
Yeah. Edit a bunch of those likes out.
Those like.
But yeah. Especially drinking water.
That's terrible.
It is. And I drink tons of water. Like every day. I drink a lot of water. I've got a
yes, you do.
glass of water sitting right next to me right now.
But and that doesn't help you 2 days out.
Oh, I know. But when I'm like fishing or hunting, I think I just got so annoyed having to go to the bathroom that I
think
don't remember to drink water.
Well, it's a case. I think you can actually learn to train your body, or you train yourself to kind of drink a little bit at a time. Because if you drink a large quantity, then of course shortly thereafter you're going to have to urinate.
Yeah.
But if you
I have to go to the bathroom
bit
all the time because I drink so much water.
Well, that's healthier. Sorry to say, but yeah,
it is
you should
healthy.
probably.
I have found though that a water bladder with a hose makes it just so much. A water bladder.
Water. I thought you were trying to say water bottle.
No.
The water bottle.
No,
water bladder.
Water bladder.
Okay.
With the hose just makes it so much more enjoyable to drink. Then I don't have to like reach for my water bottle when we're like hiking or anything. I'm just like, oh, let me take a drink. It's right here.
Another visual you missed.
Yeah. Using my hands to talk. Anyways, out of food, because I think we've pretty much covered food.
Well, yes. Okay. What about actually, I mean, the day of the hunt? If all weather conditions are what you expect them to be, what will the first day of your hunt be? And pretty much any day, I guess. What you plan on doing? Getting up. When do you get up? If you're hunting deer, you're probably trying to be in position before sunrise.
Well, so actually, I was told antelope, you put them to bed. So at night, you can find out where they're going to be all night. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they stay there, unlike deer that keep wandering around. And then in the morning, you can go back like before dark and they will still be there.
You mean before sunrise?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the problem is that there's rattlesnakes out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I really want to be walking in the dark unless it happens to be like a monster antelope buck that we put to bed the night before. But we don't plan on being super early because of that.
Because of the rattlesnakes.
Because of the snakes.
Yeah. I don't blame you there.
But as I kind of said, I think we'll hunt deer more in the morning and at night when they're moving more, or at least glass for deer more, and then try to sit on a water hole for antelope during the afternoon, again depending on how hot it is and where they seem to be hanging out.
Nice.
And of course, go back and eat dinner.
Yeah.
Hot dogs.
Then eat hot dogs. Oh.
Nate says that I'm going to get the first shot, which he usually does give me the first shot, but I also think he'd be more willing to shoot at a longer distance than I would. So if it's like the first day and we're at 80 yards of an antelope, I would probably be like either
defer
you
to
take
him.
A shot
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to try to get closer.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I want him. He hasn't shot anything with his bow for like 3 years. So I feel bad.
You feel bad, so you want him to have first shot.
He shot a turkey. That's it with his bow.
Well, next week, I think what I'll try to do is check in with you sometime, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and see if I can, if you have cell phone service, and I have the ability to maybe we will. What's that? You can merge calls on an iPhone. So maybe I'll get both you and Nate, and we can get the two perspectives. Somebody's probably going to be more honest than the other, and the truth will be somewhere in the middle. My guess will be, but that's okay. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I keep joking that by like day 3 or 4, we're gonna be hunting by ourselves. Like, I'm going to go over here, you go that way.
That hasn't happened, though, has it?
No, but we've never hunted for both of us.
Oh, you've been hunting together.
Actually, the only hunts we've ever gone on are his, so. Oh, that's not true. Technically, we did go out to the grasslands we were with Stephanie. But we were only out there for like 2.5 days. I think we had 1 full day of hunting and then hunted for half a day. So a day and a half.
Okay.
So we didn't have time to get to that point. But other than that, like we were hunting for his elk and for his mule deer.
No elk, but he did get his mule deer. So, okay. Well, good luck. I mean, I hope that you stay free of rattlesnakes and you don't run out of hot dogs. And
the hot dogs are going to carry us through.
Yeah, that'll be the true testament. Is whether or not the hot dogs carry you through. So.
I like hot dogs, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Mustard and relish, dill relish.
Yeah, except I'm only bringing ketchup. Got to pack light.
So why wouldn't you bring mustard? Mustard is the elixir of the condiments.
Yeah, but I could. Maybe. We'll see. If I'm going to bring mustard, I might as well bring relish, too.
Dill relish.
Pickles.
Dill relish, not
or
sweet
just
relish.
Pickles. Yeah, dill.
Okay, well, not to take a big turn on the subject here, but we're still talking about hunting from September 1st. I don't know, did you get out dove hunting last week? But for about the first week and a half of September,
I think that was 2 weeks ago.
You and your family, well, I guess I went out, but I never went out with you. I went out when you and your mom were sick. Yeah. But you went out. Oh, that's right. You went out like on the night.
I went out opener,
And
which
then-
I was already sick, but I
Right.
was determined. I was like,
Yeah.
I am going. I'm not missing this.
And y'all limited out that night.
Yep, we shot like 105.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I ended up cleaning my birds and was like, I'm leaving. I can't help finish because I just did not feel good.
Yeah, your brother AJ told me that he gave you the hard time about wanting to leave, and then after he found out you were sick, he felt really bad that he.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go. I don't feel good. Yeah, so I cleaned. Well, I pretty much took the first. It would have been 30 birds because it was me and Teresa that they cleaned and was like, I'm leaving. So I didn't clean all of them myself. But yeah, that was kind of sad. And then the next day he called me and was like, you want to go out? I was like, dude, I can't.
No. And that's the night I think I went out. And I can't remember. I think there were 6 of us or 7 of us. I can't remember. But we also limited out.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've hunted dove my entire life, but I have never, ever had the success that I've seen you and your siblings have over the last 2 years. And I think the spot is pretty ideal as well.
It definitely is.
But I never ever even heard of using like dove decoys and those kinds of things.
Dove mojos.
But honestly, if anybody can get a mental picture of how the Spader children hunt doves, you get lawn chairs and you sit in a line in a field. You wear, drab clothing, and you set up a few dove decoys that are the
mojos.
The mojos, they flop their wings.
We set like 2 of them up, so it's
Yeah.
nothing fancy.
Yeah. And then you just sit there until somebody says, 2 coming in straight ahead, 3 coming in from the left. And then when they get close enough, it sounds like World War III. And most of the time, multiple doves fall to the ground.
Mm-hmm. And AJ will claim that he shot every single one.
He shot them all.
It's crazy. I'm like, you weren't even shooting at that one. He's like, nope, I got that one. Whatever.
I used my son Elliot. He's over at Italy now in the Air Force, but he left his gun here with me, so I used his 12 gauge pump. And I've used a single shot my entire life. And finally, I don't know if it was my realization or Nate said something, but, somebody said, I think, you can shoot more than once. And that's what I was doing. I was, getting my target and I'd shoot. And then, like after the birds were out of range, then I'd realize, oh, wait, I got a pump. It's too late. But I did have a double. I had my first double.
There you go.
So. But yeah, I felt like a complete idiot most of the time because I would shoot once and then remember I had a pump. So
I was doing that to Teresa the other day because she's still kind of new. So I'd like give her 2 shells, be like, because she's got an over under. It's like, just shoot once. Actually, I think she was shooting. I think she was shooting a different gun, but she had maybe 2 shells. I was like, just shoot once, and then like we can reevaluate whatever. And she'd shoot at one, and I'd be like, shoot it again! She's like, you told me to only shoot once. I was like, well, shoot it again! But yeah, it is different. Mm-hmm. Like, because I went from an over-under to...
Right, and that's right. She wasn't using her normal gun because I forgot to get it out.
No, it was a miscommunication. I was supposed to get it, and then doesn't matter.
No. Well,
and her gun ended up staying at home, but that was both of our faults.
Yes. My bad. We've talked about food already here, but now let's talk a little bit about. Well, I'm making lasagna tonight for supper, and you're looking forward to that.
Oh, you're using the turkey, aren't you? That's why it's out.
Yes.
I'm excited
turkey,
for that.
The wild turkey sausage that
I just
your grandpa
put 2
and I
and 2
made.
together.
Yeah. So we're going to make wild turkey, Italian turkey sausage.
The turkey's not from Italy. It's just Italian seasoned turkey.
It's Italian seasoned.
It's not an Italian
sausage.
turkey.
No, but since lasagna is an Italian dish, right?
Yeah. No, I'm super excited.
So
I was already excited. It's like
Yeah, it's about
5
time.
o'clock. You should probably
Yeah,
go start
I better
cooking.
I got everything put together. It only cooks for about 30 minutes, so we'll be
7
good.
o'clock comes around.
Stop it. Stop it. That's another podcast. But anyway, where I was going to with this was, what is your favorite way to have dove? Because dove is delicious.
Yeah, we just cook it with like frying magic. You just batter it and fry it, basically. You could even just make it like chislic. You don't need to put anything on it. But that being said, I do love a dove popper, which we didn't do that this year.
Last year we did.
We did.
Yeah.
But I just like mine with cream cheese and bacon. And maybe like a tiny slice of jalapeno. I don't like the like big chunks.
Yeah, what
It's
did
'cause
we
it's too
we
spicy.
did? What
Do it with
was that
turkey.
for last year? When
Oh, we did it at Grandpa's.
No, we made a whole bunch of different
Super Bowl.
things. Was it Super Bowl?
I
Because
think it
Nate
was
brought
Super Bowl.
turkey.
Turkey.
Was that turkey?
Yeah, turkey
poppers?
with the honey.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Okay, that's right.
You do that with like hot honey. I bet that'd be good.
Yeah. But yeah, I know that my favorite way to prepare dove has just always been the fried. And then one of the last year, as I was in verdigris, Trey came up and we went dove hunting, and we put them in the air fryer.
Yep.
And that was actually really good too. Remember
Nate's
the time I
them
made
like that.
chislic in the air fryer
Yeah.
that way? That's kind of what it reminded me of before I knew what chislic was.
Nate and I have done chislic in the air fryer a couple of times now.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Yeah.
He he uses I don't know if I already talked about this on a different podcast. I feel like I maybe brought it up last time, but I can't remember. It's the Worcestershire.
Oh yes, you did.
Did I bring this
Yes,
up?
yes.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, it tastes like Worcestershire. He's like, well, that's because I used it.
Because we had to go through and try to teach you how to say it.
Okay, I
Yes.
thought I maybe talked about that already.
Worcestershire.
Yeah, I like my way better.
Worcestershire. Yeah. Okay.
It's a good thing though. Mom made it with mac and cheese. We had mac and cheese and then just dove.
Mm-hmm.
That was honestly really good.
Was that this year?
Yeah.
Where was I?
I don't know. I came home from work and it was just sitting on the counter.
Oh, I know what it was. I made my absolute favorite, my grandpa's favorite recipe that everybody turns their nose up to. Pork sausage, fried apples, and then, well, it used to be Franco-American, but now it's
Spaghetti.
Campbell's spaghetti, canned spaghetti. Now, may my grandpa rest in peace, but that was one of his favorite meals, and that is now one of my favorite fall meals. But
Yeah, I tried it.
Yeah, you did. But really, I don't mind that none of you like it because
More for you.
I eat it all. So that's okay. Okay, so other than that, your mom just ended up having foot surgery. So she's out of commission for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get out deer hunting. I do have a deer permit for this year. I did go out squirrel hunting once, but it was really more of a scouting expedition because it's really tough to hunt squirrels when all the trees are leafed out.
Yeah, I can't really see them very well.
No, and you can't even see the movement, and they're smart enough to know when to make noise and when not to. So
I forgot you did that.
Yep.
You find any of your trees from
I
mushrooms?
found a bunch for mushrooms. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, the boxelder trees. Yeah, so if any listeners in the areas close to Sioux Falls, if you have boxelder trees on your land and you wouldn't mind a Bohemian from Nebraska tromping around looking for boxelder mushrooms, send me an email, unbrokenarrowspodcast@gmail.com. And
He'll even give you some.
I would. Boxelder mushrooms are my favorite. They really are. And maybe if I get some, you can try those.
I'll try one.
Yeah.
I'm not against trying stuff. But
Okay.
I don't like the texture of mushrooms.
And yeah, these are even probably a little bit firmer than the mushroom that
It's like water chestnuts. I don't like the texture of water chestnuts.
That's a good comparison.
Are they close?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I don't like water chestnuts.
They're not as like water chestnuts, but they're not like the mushrooms you get in the in the store. They're kind of in
If you
between.
chop them up, it's like onions. If you chop them up fine enough, I like the flavor.
Right.
I just don't like to yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that texture issue because, I don't remember anybody like my age growing up having texture issues. And I know my kids have, some of them, not all of them, have texture issues. Trey probably more than anyone else. But I just don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like Teresa, she won't eat tomatoes, but she loves chili. It's like, do you know what and how we make chili? It's tomatoes.
I'll eat tomatoes if they're in small enough chunks.
Chunks, see? And what you're missing out on.
And they have to be it depends though. I used to be like Teresa, absolutely no chunks. But I've gotten a lot better. Like, I'll eat salsa with chunks now. Like, before I would just dip it, get the juice.
Get the juice.
Wow, I'm obviously really hungry because we talked about food this entire time. But yeah.
Well, we're going to have, I think I mentioned this before, I think we're going to have a meal of pheasant and or turkey here coming up soon. So
I like it. Maybe we'll have some fresh backstrap. Or antelope. I've only ever had antelope once.
I've never had antelope. So I would gladly offer to reverse sear anything that you brought that you wanted to share. Like I told you before, I was so anxious that you guys were going to get a paddlefish. I can't get my hopes up anymore. I just,
no.
One thing I do want to mention is we talked about the preparation for a hunt, and if we seem to kind of make light of something along that conversation, it really wasn't intentional, because all of the things that we talked about, whether it's food, whether it's the things that you need to, like tents, those types of materials to sleep and stay warm, and the preparation work for the lay of the land and understanding what you're going to do and where you're going to do it. A hunt like that takes a lot, and it's not something that, say, a beginner is really going to start off with, to go on a week-long antelope hunt or a mule deer hunt or anything else like that. And last week's podcast was with Jason Nelson of the South Dakota Game Fish and Parks, and it was about fly fishing. It was about what can you do, or how can you get started in fly fishing. And that's one of the things that, again, I want to point out to our listeners, that there are different organizations, clubs, your Department of Natural Resources, Game and Parks. There are these different types of opportunities, workshops, meetings that you can go to learn about some of these things that you may not know a lot about, that you might have an interest in. And I want to encourage everybody to do that, to look for those types of opportunities in your area, because it's just not unique to South Dakota. I mean, if you want to kayak, no matter where you live, there's going to be somebody else, maybe a club that's there, that's a kayak club that, part of their mission is to usually outreach and expand the numbers in their club. So whether it's fly fishing, whether it's kayaking, canoeing, we've had various people from the outdoor campus that we've talked to, and places like that. We're fortunate, but there are other places throughout the country that have turkey hunting 101, deer hunting 101, all those types of things. So just one of those things that I've been wanting to mention here for the last few weeks, but either have run out of time or forgotten about it. But look in your area, wherever you're at. Like I said, we're fortunate here. But no matter where you live, there will be these opportunities. This coming weekend, I think everything's lined up that I will be able to go and observe and get to interview some more families. We talked to Carrie and Colby that have taken part in the PDR youth hunt, and that's coming up this coming weekend, and I'm going to go up and visit and meet some more of the people that organize that and participate in that. So I'm looking forward to that. And a couple weeks from now, I'll be down at Ponca State Park for the Casting for Recovery retreat. Ponca, yep, in
Where's
Nebraska.
Oh, say where's that? Nebraska?
Yep, Nebraska. Just kind of where Vermilion is, across the river on the other side, a little bit further east.
Not too far.
No, it's not too far at all. But so anyway, with that, again, good luck on your hunt.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to
get you an update.
Yep, we'll get the update next week, and I'm, like I said, I'd like to have both you and Nate on at the same time because, I'd like to hear, to be fair, his
both sides
of the story is right.
Yeah, we'll have to call you some night. I think we should have service at night. So
it'd be interesting if you called while Mark was there, and to get the
Mark's
the third perspective. It would be nice.
Which, again, I'm throwing Mark under the bus here. He hasn't even sighted his bow in it that I know of. He said he was going to do it last weekend. I called him Monday maybe, and he was like, "Nope, I haven't." No, I texted him. He's like, "No, but I'm gonna try to do it this week." And I haven't heard since.
I'm going to defend Mark here because I've heard both you and Nate say before that when it comes to marksmanship with regard to a bow, Mark is pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's like
so
it's kind of like how
maybe he doesn't
AJ
even need a sight.
Yeah, it's how AJ's just like really good at stupid things. When we went out to Total Archery Challenge the first year, Mark went with us, and we pull up to the first target, and Nate, I think I had a pin out to 60 yards. Nate had his out to like 80 or 90 or something stupid. And Mark had like a 3-pin fixed. So he had 20, 30, 40. And I don't even think his 40 was technically sighted in. It was just kind of there. And we pull up to the first target and we range it, and it's like 36 or something. And he's like, 36? I don't have a pin for 36, and just smokes it. And then the next one's like 54, and he's like, I don't even have a pin that goes past 40. And again, just smokes it. And we're like, how are you even like aiming right now? What are you doing?
So, see, I think that it doesn't really matter if he sighted it as bow.
Yeah, probably
right?
not.
So,
it's like he's got a magnet or something. I don't know.
some people have the gift.
Yeah, not me.
Well,
time for you to make lasagna.
Well, good luck. We'll touch base next week, and I hope that you have good luck, safe travels, and also safe while you're there, because we love hunting and we love being out in the outdoors, but it is kind of dangerous.
Yes,
so
especially with snakes.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of snakes.
I don't want you to be fixated on snakes, though, because a deer might walk by right in front of you, and you think you're listening to, is that a rattler?
Well, I've heard stories of people like crawling, like belly crawling, and then all of a sudden being like, oh, we're face to face with a snake. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But
yeah, I hope that doesn't happen to you as well. So,
well, with that being said, thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Catherine. Good luck.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, I guess.
For whatever
I'm going to be doing, right?
All right. As always, if you or someone you know is thinking of suicide or in need of crisis intervention, call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988. To all of our listeners, take some time to get outside, enjoy the outdoors, and experience its healing powers. With that, on behalf of Greg and myself, until next time.